If you've been keeping up with the news recently, then you've probably heard that Twitch has been having some issues in its headquarters, and just things have not been going very smoothly at Twitch. The slope has been a little bumpy, and it seems like they're getting through it, but recently they've been showing some scary signs of having serious issues internally. So Twitch, as you know, has nearly 2,000 employees for a streaming service. They don't really have any like infrastructure. They don't sell an actual product. I mean, unless you want to count merch, which I wouldn't. So you might be wondering, why does Twitch have 2,000 employees when all they do is have a streaming service online that people can use? Well, you are among a lot of people asking that same exact question, and I think Twitch asked themselves that recently when they fired 500 people, which is extremely sad, of course, for the people that got fired, because that's their career. That is their livelihood. They were making, that's how they lived. So it's extremely sad for them, but understandable because Twitch is not profitable. Now, to me, like looking at Twitch from the outside, if you're not totally like if you don't keep up with them very often, you might look at their company and think, how could you not be profitable? You're not you It's not really that much risk unless everyone stopped using the platform, which we know is probably not going to happen. So you might be wondering, how are they not profitable? Well, a really big portion of that is because they are so overstaffed. During COVID, everything exploded. The GPU market exploded. Everything went into ungodly territory, and all these companies started hiring mass amounts of people. And now that everything's came back to regular human level, not everything's a monopoly anymore. These companies, they have to let people go to stay in business because they're just not bringing in the same amount of money as they were previously. Less people are watching Twitch, less people are buying stuff, less people have money to spend on Twitch subscriptions and stuff. So understandably, they had to fire a bunch of people, which actually amounts to like over $100 million with the amount of people that they fired, which is wild. And that's assuming that everyone there made $50,000, or everyone that they fired made $50,000, which is not the case. I'm sure the average salary of people that they fired was probably higher than that, but I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, guys, we talked about it on my stream a little bit. We went over Charlie's video. I thought he had some really good points. There was a couple of points where I kind of disagreed on a little bit. But yeah, let's take a look.
Twitch is really going through it right now. They are struggling through a hard time internally. I'm not talking about falling off or anything. They haven't lost their spot at the top of the food chain when it comes to streaming. But internally, it's pure chaos and pandemonium. They've been treading water when it comes to their financials, and it's been getting really bad. They just had to announce that they're stopping the Twitch service in South Korea because it's just prohibitively expensive. They also had the huge round of layoffs last year that you might remember.
Why,
Twitch is just generating about as much money as CryptoZoo. $0. In fact, less than $0.
They are generating negative money. They are, like I said earlier, Amazon is having to ejaculate funds onto Twitch's face right now because they have way too many employees for literally no reason. Like, I don't see a reason unless every single one of them is moderating streamers and trying to find people to ban and stuff. But
it's negative monies. Negative clams are being generated by Twitch, and it seems to just keep getting
negative
worse. They just had to announce another wave of layoffs at Twitch with 500 employees losing their jobs. 35% of the Twitch workforce was being laid off, as confirmed by Dan Clancy. And today,
And to be honest, I mean, it's very sad for the people that work at Twitch, but I feel like it probably should have been more, considering at this point Twitch is established. It's not like they're going to be building the platform from the ground up. There's just not really a lot to do in that front. There, like, unless you want to, unless I guess you could revamp the whole site or whatever, but like, what's the point of that? You already have, like, it's fine. Mother of God. Okay, anyways, but it's fine. Like, and I don't see them changing it up anyways.
Clancy actually did a stream just being fully transparent, going over a lot of things, such as the layoffs, as well as just Twitch not really making money. Again, that's not a secret. We all knew that. That's about as much of a secret as me being...
It actually, I would have thought, like, I never did a lot of deep diving in terms of Twitch. I never really like looked into the meat and potatoes of the situation with, with Twitch's financials. So looking at it from the outside in, a lot of I don't I feel like he's wrong on this actually. I feel like a lot of people think that Twitch is super profitable. I think a lot of people think that Twitch is like just killing it, just because they feel like Twitch is a monopoly on the whole market. So like, what do you think of when you think of a monopoly? It's like you think of a business that's doing super well, but it's just not really the case.
Short. Like, everyone knows by just taking a look at Twitch and what's been going on. It definitely fucking sucks how
I
many
mean, like,
people
yeah,
just
now,
lost their
yes,
jobs in
like
this most
now that I
recent
know more
wave
about
here,
it, yes,
and it's even more unfortunate that it's not exclusive to just Twitch here. This has become extremely common in the tech industry because so many companies like Twitch started overhiring and went through this period of overgrowth, especially during COVID. And now
Yep.
all at once they're starting to downsize and lay off a ton of people like what they just did.
Yep.
And that's something Dan also talks about.
That we've implied this before, where we say we need to run it sustainably, but I'll be blunt, we aren't profitable.
I love though this guy. He seems so like active in the community. Like he seems so transparent, way more. I mean, I don't even know who the last Twitch CEO was, but I mean, I've seen him like playing games and stuff, and him actually coming out and talking about the financials and what's actually going on behind the scenes. Oh, is really like it's kind of a breath of fresh air.
Extremely
you know?
supportive of Twitch, and a big thing for being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money, and that's a big part of my job because that's going to be what makes sure we can be here for long term.
This is the CEO of Twitch who is just speaking openly and honestly about what's going on, which is really refreshing, especially given the last CEO who didn't even know that he ran Twitch. Again, this isn't a shocking revelation. I don't think anyone heard this and flew back in their chair.
Yeah, in the whole, I don't know how long the last CEO. I don't even know who the last CEO was, but I've never heard of him. I never heard him speak. I never heard him do anything, ever.
And
So.
slapped their knee like, well, golly, Twitch not being profitable, never saw that coming. This is the worst kept secret since Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father, right? Everyone knew it wasn't making money, and Dan is now just finally saying that out loud and then going over how he plans to fix that. Before going too deep into and say Twitch Prime is a service offered on the platform where you can sub to a streamer completely for free as long as you have your Prime sub available, and that streamer gets $5 from Twitch. Well, $2.50 from Twitch for free. All you do is take your Twitch Prime and use it on a streamer, $0 to you, and that streamer gets money from Twitch. I believe that they're just praying, fingers crossed every day that you forget to use your Prime sub, because when you remember to, you're just costing the company money. And
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know. Every time I hear like Twitch Prime or like thanks for the Prime, I never even associate it. Like I didn't even know it was free. I assumed people were paying money for that. So
I've
yeah.
said for 2 years since the holes in the ship started to show that that's probably going to be one of the major things that they change. If they don't outright get rid of it, they're going to do some kind of drastic overhaul and change the way it currently is, because that is something that is not sustainable to a business that already isn't profitable. And Dan Clancy talks about that.
Prime is a critical program for many streamers. We've already been looking across the company in terms of how to set us up for the long term. I think we will continue to evolve different aspects of our program, because part of what I'm trying to do is get us into a framework that can live over a long time. The size of the company is one of those things that gets us to the right size for the longer period of time.
Right.
When we did partner,
Why were they not thinking about that previously? Like, what in the world? What? I want to know who decided. Okay, we can like sustain 2,000 employees.
plus we structured that so that we could continue to move that threshold. We're going to keep looking across our strategy with streamers. We did this with the ads incentive program. We want to get to where we can continue to grow and adapt and change as the market changes. And so there may be other changes, but I will tell you, Prime is an important part for our viewers and our creators. So it's important for us to make sure Prime still exists in some way.
Yeah, like I don't think they're gonna outright get rid of it. I think it's gonna be probably a situation where it's you get a sub for $2.50. So Twitch actually gets to keep $2.50. Like it's like a cancel out situation.
It's not a direct answer to the question of if the free benefit to Twitch Primes is disappearing, but I think it's pretty clear with the way he answers it and tiptoes around it, beats around the bush a little bit, that he
Like instead of Twitch having to suffer a loss of $2.50, they just suffer a loss of nothing. Like they just transfer the $2.50 to the streamer, and it's just cheaper for the viewer.
He recognizes the
But
severity
it's the same for the
of having
streamer,
to change
so.
that, but knows that he needs to change it. So the way that he kind of talks around the subject makes it clear that there is change coming. As he's talking about needing to come up with new strategies and everything, I think we can all say with a high level of confidence that the free benefit to the Twitch Primes is going to be an ancient relic of the forgotten past. In 50 years, you'll tell your grandkids there used to be a way to sub to your favorite
I could
streamer for
definitely- yeah.
free. And they'll
You know what? I predict that they're going to do it exactly how I just said it. It's going to be a situation where the viewer can pay $2.50. They still get like a tier 1 sub, but but they can only use it like once a month, right, on one streamer, and Twitch just doesn't gain anything from it, and the sole gain is the streamer, but then again, Twitch also isn't losing any money from it, so.
call you crazy and tell you to take your medicine and go back to Arkham Asylum, you old geezer. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, it seems. Now, this is a big I told you so moment for me because like I said, I was beating the drum saying, hey, Twitch Primes probably aren't going to last forever. Hey, like a doomsday prepper kind of thing. And it looks like that day is coming up sooner than I thought it would, to be honest. But we still don't know exactly what's going to change about it. If I had to look into my crystal ball and take another guess, I would say they're going to keep the Prime program around, but a diet version of it, a bootleg, watered-down version.
Oh yeah, you just said they're going to keep the Prime program around. They're definitely going to switch it up though.
Of the Twitch Prime service that we know and love currently. I think that it'll probably end up being more of like a discount code situation where if you have a Prime available, once a month you can sub to your favorite streamer for half off. So instead of costing you $5 to sub to your favorite streamer, it'll cost you $2.50, and then they get the $2.50 the streamer you sub to. I think that's probably how it'll work. So it'll no longer be free, but it'll be a discount on a sub, so like 50% or maybe even less. I really have no idea. But that's kind of how I envision this going in the future. They're not going to outright...
I definitely just imagine it being a situation where Twitch is like, okay, we don't want to be hurting from this anymore, so they're just going to make it $2.50, take none of that from the sub, and just give the $2.50 to the streamer. It's going to be a situation.
Get rid of it, I don't think. It'll likely be in that manner. So we'll see. We'll see if I go 2 for 2 on the Twitch Prime, boogeyman predictions here. But anyway, Dan Clancy also just directly answered a question a viewer asked about, is Twitch at risk of just getting the axe from Amazon? And he said emphatically no, and that Amazon is very much in this race. They are heavily invested in this, and there's no chance, really, that Twitch just crumbles and goes under or anything.
That would never... Okay, of course that would never happen. Amazon, once again, is worth over $1,000 billion. They have a monopoly on the streamer market. Okay, Amazon doesn't really care if Twitch is losing money. They're not... maybe a little bit, right? But Twitch's revenue or something... Twitch revenue. Okay, $160